single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is doing fresh. My name is Kamuhela Lebesi, and welcome to the Impact Show. It is indeed a beautiful Friday evening, and today we are going to talk about Fatherless Homes, teaching boys rather, how to become men. And I'm so excited because we know that during this course of the year, during the lockdown and the pandemic, gender-based violence has been increasing in South Africa, and we are going to touch a bit on that as the show continues. Today, I'm having my guest. If you don't know him, I don't know why. Maybe I've been checking out my post, but my guest, and let me just introduce him. Let me just tell you who he is and what he does. But let me tell you who he is. His name is Lesego Boweni. He is an educator. Number one, he is an author. He is a mentor. And as I always say, he is the voice of the youth. Help me welcome Mr. Boweni. How are you, sir?
My leader, I am all right. How are you, my leader?
No, I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm trying to list everything, but it's a lot.
Yeah, you are out of order, my leader.
My apologies.
As for voice of the youth, hey, my leader.
No, I know.
I wasn't
it
expecting
a lot
that
of weight,
one.
though.
Hey, too much weight, man. Too much weight on my shoulders.
Yeah. But before we start, I've always had a question. And I know some of the people I don't know you as I know you, because I used to listen to you from youth camps. I used to listen to you and everything. And I just want to talk about the crisis which we see about gender-based violence. We see, like, especially during this pandemic, it has risen. And when we check during the month of women, it was like hectic, where we as men to take note of women. But I don't know what happened. But I just want to hear your view and thoughts on that one before we start.
Hey, my leader, you are starting very strong, yo. Okay, firstly, maybe let me just thank you, my leader, for having me on your show. I believe this is a beautiful platform, and I hope that it grows and grows and grows. And whenever you need me again on the show, I'm here. I'm here, my leader. I'm proud of you for these steps that you are taking.
Thank you very much.
Without wasting time, my thoughts on gender-based violence. I don't know how many minutes I have to talk about that, because it is extremely sad that we find ourselves in such a situation as a country, as a people in general. I love the words of Tupac. I used to listen to hip hop, my leader. Tupac goes on to say, "A man is born of a woman.
Yes, sir.
He falls in love with a woman. He marries a woman.
Yes.
I don't understand how a man can disrespect a woman."
Exactly.
I think that statement in itself carries a lot of weight. Because once you understand the value of a woman in the life of anyone, then you get to understand that the people that you are actually hurting are the people who are the foundation of who we are as a people today. I feel like preaching, but even in the Bible, even in the Bible, when you get to check, from the onset, for everything to be completed, the man was alone until he
Yes.
had to get someone to accompany him throughout his journey of life.
Yes, sir.
When for
Yes, sir.
for our salvation to come, it needed for Christ to be born of a woman. So even the
Yes.
Messiah himself came down to feel the love and the warmth of a woman.
Mm.
When Christ rose from the dead, the first person to preach of a
Yes.
risen Savior was a woman.
Was the woman.
When the
Hey.
Bible
Hey.
when the Bible even talks about us, it says that we are the bride, and the bride is a woman. So it continually shows the value of a woman in the life of any individual. That is why even today, even when you want something at home, you ask your mom. Even when you are in trouble as a child, when you scream, mama way.
Exactly.
Yes, even when your father is in the house and you want something,
Yeah.
you are quick to ask and say, Papa, where's my mom? So I think the
Yes.
number one thing that we need to start learning, especially, let me just say, especially as a young woman, is to understand the value and the power of women. The value and
Yes.
power of women. I mean, you find that
Interesting.
there's an entire month dedicated to women. That cannot be any of a
Yeah.
coincidence. You find that when you celebrate Youth Day, there are women there in the youth. Mother's Day, Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Valentine's Day
Yeah.
is even mainly about women, as if love is only about women. But it shows that you know what, women make the world go round.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So we need
Mm.
to learn from a very young age and from the onset to understand the value of women, and that would make it very easy for us to appreciate them in our lives.
That's very much powerful, and especially when you talked about the mama way,
I'm telling you, my
because
leader.
we feel comfortable talking to our mothers.
I'm telling
That's
you.
very much true. Now,
Yeah, I was going to say that when mothers are those kind of people, she can slap you right now, and you will run back to her for comfort as well, because that's the power that women
exactly,
also have. They
they
have the
have.
power. They have the power to reprimand, and then they also have the power to comfort, all at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, that's very much powerful, sir. Now, moving along to you as an individual, because I'm a good listener, and I listen to you, and you always said, no, you grew up and you were raised by your aunties and people from church, and how was that? I just want to understand that one. If no, correct me if I'm wrong. You can correct
You
me,
see,
then
you see, the
we
thing is, you're out of order.
can move on.
uh, yeah, a lot of a lot of my influence into who I am today.
Mm,
People who contributed a lot were women.
yeah.
For me to get baptized, my youth
Mm,
leader was a woman.
mm,
I grew up in a household where that was dominated by women because, yeah, there was no father figure in the home. So it was my grandmother, it was my mom, her sister, and my mother's sister's daughter. Yeah, that one.
mm,
You see, yeah.
mm,
So we grew up in a home that was dominated by women. So you get to see when one is not okay. You get to see when they are happy, how they go about their thing. You get to hear how they comment when we are watching TV. Those are the kind of things that helped me. I don't want to say I understand women, but to get an insight into how they feel, how they deal with certain things. So a whole lot of women that surrounded me growing up as a young man, they shaped my thinking of women, my perspective on how to treat a woman. That is why I always say that I no matter how angry I will get in my life, I don't see myself ever laying a hand on my wife. You know, if I have a daughter, she will get it, but reprimanding and in a loving manner. But in terms of abuse, that won't happen because I because I grew up seeing I grew up seeing how strong women are, what they go through, how they deal with things. You know what I mean? So they played a huge part in my life, most definitely.
Mm, 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 mm. Hey, yeah, and I love it when you say that in everything you used to learn how they are, because some of us didn't get that experience, but we understand how to you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Actually, women are able to take care of a home, but only a woman can make it a home, regardless of what you like it or not. But only a woman can make it a home. So now, when we move on to this topic of today, which we are having about teaching boys to become men, and when we talk about boys, we're talking about young men who are living in homes whereby there is no father figure, where they're living, where there is no that structure, or where there is no that father figure they can look up to.
Mm-hmm.
How can we deal with it as a community? And before, I just want to understand that in terms of community wise, how can we deal with it?
Okay, let's first start here.
Mhm,
Number one, or the most important thing, is that
mm,
um, you can grow up in a house or in a home where you have a mother and a father
mhm,
and still turn out bad.
mhm.
You can come from a home where there's only a
Exactly.
father
Yes.
or where there's only a mother, and you can turn out to be
Mhm,
great.
mhm,
You can grow up in a house where there's a
mhm.
single
Yes.
parent and be bad, and you can still come from a complete family with mama and papa and still turn out good. I'm saying this because I want us from the onset to understand that everything that we
Mhm,
do
mhm,
or everything that happens to us boils down to the decision that we will make from that point. Here's why I'm saying this.
mhm,
Um, though I grew up around women, ne, in the home that I come from, my mom then ended up getting her own place, and we lived together. And
mhm,
for quite some time, it was just the two of us. So then the question is, how is it then that
mhm,
I turned out? I don't want to say best, but how is it that I turned out to be a good man? Ne? It all boils down to the decisions that I decided to make. So
mhm,
from the onset, I don't want people to think that just because you come from a single parent household, it does not automatically mean
mhm,
that you are going to turn out to be terrible. The decisions that you make
mhm.
dictate whether you turn out to be good or to be
Mhm.
bad. So
Yes, sir.
before
Mm,
the community can deal with anything, before the parent in
mhm,
the home can deal with anything, you are the person who first needs to deal
mhm,
with whatever it is that you are facing, whatever it is that is going through your mind. Because once you make a decision, it is
mhm,
difficult for someone to change your mind, because you can come to me and you can give me all the
mhm,
facts. You can give me all the
mhm,
stats. You can give me all the examples that you want. But at the end of the day, even if you've spoken to me for the whole day, at the end of the day, I still need to make a decision whether I'm going to do good or I'm going to do bad. So from the onset, men or boys need to learn that the decisions that they make dictate whether you become a good man or vice versa. So that when the community welcomes you, they welcome, because here's the thing, ne? People treat you according to the way you present yourself. That is why it's easy for you to respect someone who comes up to you wearing a suit, you know. But when someone comes up to you dressed in torn clothes and whatnot, you tend to take them for granted, because presentation is important. It's key. So the way that you present yourself to people will be the way that they take you. You see? So from the onset, boys need to learn to make good decisions. And a good decision is based on knowing what is right and what is wrong. And when you are home, you are taught what is right and what is wrong. That even when you get into the community and you see what is wrong, you know that this is wrong. So if you decide that I'm going to follow the wrong that is done in the community, you make a decision consciously knowing the after effects thereof as well. So the bottom line of everything that we will say, the number one factor is making positive and good decisions.
Yeah, that's very much important, because now I see when you say that, even regardless of which home you come from, it is all about you. It's all about you saying, okay, fine, this is the situation that I am in my family, but am I allowing the situation to drown me, or am I
Yes.
going to come out victorious about everything which is happening,
Yes.
regardless of, because sometimes we find young boys who are in a family where there is a mother and a father, but you find that maybe a father is abusive and he gets to capture that, and it becomes something
Worse.
but he has the decision to say, okay, fine, is this right, is this wrong? Because if we are going to say that, okay, fine, only people are coming from this certain home, you were saying,
I wanted to add on this. Sorry if I disturbed you. I wanted to say that people should never be fooled into thinking that the grass is always green on the other side. You understand what I'm saying? Because there are some people who say, I wish I was born in a family of rich people. And then you find a rich kid saying, man, I wish I had a father who comes to collect me from school and who plays soccer with me, even if it's bolo ya plastic, you know, because this kid might be born in a rich family. But that does not mean that they are rich when it comes to love. They are rich when it comes to the connection that they share. Because some rich families, you find that they don't even get to spend much time together. And then you find that rehab centers, you know, are also filled with kids who come from rich families who seemingly have everything. So it all boils down to the decision that you get to make. I was raised by a single mother, basically. And I usually say, I love saying this almost everywhere I go and everywhere where I speak. I like to say that my father taught me the greatest lesson in life, that in his absence, he taught me that I need to be present in the life of my kids. So it would have been easy for me to say, I never had a father. I don't know how to be a father. But then I can say, growing up, I wish my father could do this. I wish I could learn this from him, this and this and this and this. So that in itself is a lesson for me to say, when you have a kid, make sure that he or she does not suffer the way that you suffered. It's a decision.
exactly.
It's tough. It's tough, my leader. It's tough, my leader.
Because I find that
Yes, sir.
we are living in a time whereby I feel like we are the generation where we think we feel too much I think like we are too entitled, because now we find that we're making excuse over everything. I did not have this. I didn't have a father. I didn't have a mother. And such things, they end up causing confusion in our head. And it's very much painful. And I was asked a question which I was supposed to ask you. And the question follows to say, what makes a man? That was the question. It's quite difficult. That was the question which I was asked to ask you. What makes a man?
Let me start off by saying this. Ne? There's no formula where one can say this is a man. This is a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. So a man, or what makes a man, I still go to the very, very thing that I said from the onset. The decisions that he makes. The decisions that he makes him the kind of man that he would want to be, the kind of man that his family deserve, the kind of husband that the wife needs. Because if we are to say what makes a man, and then we say a man is someone who provides, who does this and this and this, the question then is, what happens then if the man loses his job? Does that then make him less of a man? You see, because that's one of the problems with society. Society wants to say a man is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then, what happens if you don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Does it mean that you are less of a man? Because you still have a man who is a provider, but he's also an abuser. And then we say a man is a provider, a man does not abuse. So what are we saying? You see? And then you still have one who is not working, or who is not making enough money to be the breadwinner at home, but he is full of love and is supportive in the household. Are we saying that he is less than a man? So that's why I'm saying society usually wants to pin and say, this is what makes a man. This is what makes it. I'm sorry, I'll make an example. Kabolo. You will say, what makes a good striker? What makes a good striker? A good striker is one who scores a lot of goals. Yes, but before you are a striker, you are a soccer player. So as a soccer player, you are not only responsible for scoring goals as a striker, but you also have the opportunity to have an assist and provide as many goals as you can. Does it mean that you are a bad striker? No. It just means that you are a good player, that you are even able to play with others. So so society wants to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes a man. So for me, I say the decisions that you make on a daily basis makes you a man. If you decide that I am going to be a good man today, you are a good man. If you are going to decide anything that you decide makes you a man.
Yeah, that's very much powerful, because I too had a problem having a lot of ideas, and you start thinking, okay, fine, I'm getting old. And I used to think that, okay, being a man, yeah, you need to be that provider, the breadwinner. And it confuses me, because I had a lot of stress. Now, if school does not work out for me, then what I'm going to do that makes a man. That means now I must revisit and check. It's okay, fine. What have I done, or what can I improve? Yes.
Also, what's important is, firstly, before anyone else can answer, what is a man to you? Or if you are to say, I am a man, what are you saying? Because if you put 5 people in a room and you say, what makes a man? They will give you different answers. Some of the things will be the same, but they will still give you different answers. That
Yes.
automatically says to us that there is no set definition. So you need to define that for yourself. You need to say, what makes a man? A man does not treat his wife or his partner in a disrespectful way. This and this and this and this and this. Then you live according to your definition of what makes a man. And that definition should not clash with the out and out humanity of living with other people. Because you cannot say a man is the head of the home and then you beat someone. Hey, I'm the head of this home. Because you're still stepping on or trampling on the basic human right or the basic human feeling of someone else. So you need to define that for yourself. And then once you have done that, then you live according to that definition. Live according to your own definition of what makes a man.
Hey, it's very much powerful. Hey, yeah. Like I'm having a self introspection as we are talking right now. It's like I'm at looking as I'm going along the way because I'm wondering. Okay, fine. I need to revisit and just check because now, basically, I was, when I'm a person who's used to social media and I'm exposed to a lot of things. And even if no matter how much you try to block some things, they try with Zingen and they enter in your brain. I'm like, okay, man, has to do this, a man. But now I need to revisit and just I'll just say my own curriculum or something like that, so that it can guide you.
You are right. Because as I said, remember, even on Facebook or social media, we all post our thoughts, our ideals, our beliefs. So whatever is said there, there's nothing wrong with reading because we learn every single day. So there's no problem with seeing what is there. Then you match it with what you believe, what constitutes you as an individual. Compare that, and then you see, is this then going to take away from who I am, or is this going to be a good addition to who I am or who I want to be? Then you just either implement or you remove.
Yeah. I think I need to revisit now because now this social media has cost us a lot. Has cost us a lot. But
It's
now
dangerous.
I'm moving along to the question of the
yes.
When you touched on the power of decision. You touched on the power of decision, right? So does being a boy, does your decisions be influenced by people around you? For example, because sometimes I believe that when you hang around with people, if you hang around people who are no vision and who are always criticizing everything, you'll end up becoming that certain person. So for boys who are growing up and going to school, college, whatever the case may be, and they are growing up and they are learning every day. So does the decisions which they take, are they mostly affected by people they hang around with, or is what and be right?
Yes. Surrounding people around us, people close to us, lifestyle, all of that plays a part in the decisions that we make. Steve Harvey says, if you are if you have 10 friends, if there's 10 of you, and 9 of your friends are smoking, you are going to be the 10th one. If 9 of your friends are broke, you are going to be the 10th one. He is simply saying that mostly the people that you hang around with them for too long, they are going to affect you. So then, from a young age, you need to then decide the people that you hang around with, because they are going to play a part in your life. If, okay, we'll take the Cape Flats, for example. It is surrounded by gangs, ne? Gangsterism. So it so happens that a child growing up there, that possibilities are high that he too will join a gang. But also remember, going back to decision making, the surrounding can also help you in that when you look around, before you rush into a decision, you ask yourself, is this the kind of life that I want to live? Is this where I want to end up? Is this, because everything that you do, you also need to examine what is happening and what will be the end result. So, also in terms of things that are happening around you, you need to the decisions that you make is all up to the perspective or how you view things at the end of the day. If you feel that gangsterism will work for you, trust me, you will be a gangster. But when you stand and you look at your surroundings and you see that the people around you are doing 1, 2, and 3, and you see that this is not beneficial to them, why would you want to do the very same thing? So therefore, that's where now you need to pick and choose, because every community, every surrounding, any neighborhood has its positives and its negatives. So that's where now you get to say, okay, I'm going to take the positives, ne? and allow them into my life. I am going to look at the negatives and see how I can either change them into a positive or how I can shut them out of my life. So I still go back to decision making. The perspective now, when you look at your surroundings, when you see the people around you, Bona, no one has ever died from having one friend. You know what I'm saying? Yes. No one has ever died from having one friend. So even if people can say, whenever you don't go out, you don't go to parties and whatnot, for you, that's not having a good time. There are people who enjoy sitting and reading a book. That's a good time for them. That's how they decided. A lot of people around me, a lot of my peers are choosing to drink alcohol during the weekends. I choose to read. A decision that is made. You see that when you look at everything, when you look at your surroundings, you see how badly it affects them, and you decide to make a decision for the positive. So everything around us affects us. It's all up to you whether it affects you for the negative or it affects you for the positive, whether it's going to help you, whether it will build you, or whether it will break you down.
Yeah, it goes back to the power of decision. And it goes back to the power of decision, because even a doctor can come out of those Cape Flats if he makes a decision. You know what I want is what I will get. You
That's
are
the
not
truth.
defined by your environment.
Yes.
I will make it and I will push. So now I'm moving along to this question, to this stigma. There's this stigma about real men don't cry, real men don't show emotions, real men bottle up things. And this thing has been affecting us for a lot of times. Whenever they ask you, where's Alang? No, Gishab, don't worry about it. Gishab. We act all strong, but are we really strong as men? Because now we try to act strong where we do not need to be strong, where we need help, we don't find help. When we are confused, we are, like men are confusing.
Hey, there are some things that I want to say, but I'll hold them back. If crying makes you, if crying makes a man weak, then it means that Jesus was weak, and Jesus was not weak in any way. Showing emotion, showing emotion does not mean that you are weak. Showing emotion shows that you are human. That's the one thing that you need to know. Before you are a man, before you are a woman, you are human, and you go through human emotions. So there is no problem in shedding a tear. Ne? The stigma is actually what is killing us, because this is what happens when men bottle up their emotions. They explode at the wrong time, and they explode to the wrong people at the wrong time. Because you bottle up your emotion, the people who are going to suffer the most is the family, because they have to deal with a man now who is moody. They have to deal with a man who makes rash decisions. They have to deal now with a man who abuses them at home. They have to deal with a man who takes away the warmth in the home. So there is no problem in sharing when you are not okay. I think maybe the major thing is some people don't feel, or some people have this feeling that, or this notion that they have no one they can trust. They have no one that they can talk to, because I can't come and then open up to you. Wabo? I can't come and open up to you. Wabo? Let me make an example, because I'd feel no, Mare Norman Lebes is younger than me. He won't understand. Why should I talk to him? So therefore, then I need to find someone who, for example, who is older than I am, or someone that I can relate to easily, and then I can talk to that person. So men, don't be afraid to confide in someone, because the more you get to talk about some things, you get them off your chest. Because when you hold it in, the more you hold in, the more it is going to be painful when it bursts out. So, and maybe also maybe to women, women also need to stop saying that men who cry are weak, because they don't understand and they don't realize that when a man is able to cry in front of you, it is a show of confidence that they trust you enough to be vulnerable in front of you. And also, they are opening the door for you to come in and step in and understand this man for the better. So he is actually giving you front row seats into the man that is to come after that crying period. So it's either you are going to bring him down, or you are going to elevate with him from that point. So a man who cries in front of you is showing that he is trusting you enough with his vulnerable side, and still know that you will treat him with utter respect from there. You know what I mean? So the whole stigma also, now for me, okay, maybe I've cried, I think in my entire life, I've cried about 5 times preaching in front of people, tears out. Yeah, I still can't explain why, but it just happened. And even walking out of there, I did not feel ashamed, because whoever will come and say that I'm not man enough to control my emotions, they don't know what I've been through. Because what you go through is for you. That's why I usually say I have the uttermost respect for street kids. Though I don't like the term, but I have respect for those people, because if some people were to become street kids, they will never make it in the street.
Yeah.
So never ever say anything negative about someone. When you see me cry, you do not understand the extent of the things that I've been through. So for men, don't be afraid to let that out, because the more you hold it in, you will explode at the wrong time. And this is what we are seeing today. This is what we are seeing today when you talk about gender-based violence. I mean, I can't just wake up and then decide, you know what, I'm going to beat my wife. It comes from a long line of things that have been happening that I did not want to deal with. So that is why, for guys, I always say, have a circle of people whom you will be able to talk to without judging each other. Sometimes I just want to talk. I don't need advice. I just want to talk. I want to get things off my chest. Maybe that's also another problem that men have, because as a man, generally we have this thing that we want to solve problems. So when I tell you my problem, you want to give me a solution. Sometimes, Bon, I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do, but it's still burning inside me. So I just want to talk, get it out of my system. Once it's out of my system, I'm able to think clear. I'm able to act clear. So sometimes it is important to listen. It's important to listen, because a tree does not only give fruit, but it also gives shade. So you don't pick the fruit just because you are hungry, but you are even able to sit under a shade because you just need the cooling relief of the shade. So sometimes it's not about offering a solution, but also about
listening. Yeah, yeah, it's very much powerful. It's very much powerful. And you know, when we talk about circles of friends, or rather people that you can talk to, sometimes it's actually good to just offload, like, and the only word you can say to the person is like, I'm fit, and you don't need now to start diagnosing and do a lot and do a lot of things. Just give them
sometimes,
here.
yeah. Because if I say, of course, I can come to you and I'll be like, hey, Shimfet, I don't know what to do. Already you can hear as the statements begins that, okay, maybe I'm looking for options. I don't know what to do. This and this and this and this. And then you're like, okay, maybe how about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Because already the statement and even the way that I'm offloading, you can tell that I'm looking for solutions. I just don't know what to do. But sometimes I'm like, hey, Shimfet, you know this and 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 this. I'm sharing. I'm sharing.
It's quite lit and complex.
It's
Now,
late, my brother.
but I think this is my last question or not, but I don't know. We'll
Okay.
see. Uh,
Okay.
I hear you mentioned about having a circle of friends which you talk to. So now, is it for and now in particular for parents who are uh, raising up boys? Is it okay? Is it fine if a mother finds, for example, an uncle to be a father figure, or to find some other people call a spiritual leader, a spiritual father, or anything? Is that still effective? Does that still work in ensuring that a boy is I don't want to use the word stable, but is able to find that reference in a way?
It's very effective, and it's actually very powerful. Ne? The reality is that there are people that we can relate to. There are people that you can easily relate with as compared to your parents. There are people that you would feel comfortable sharing things with as compared to your parents, because I go to my mom, ne? And if I say this, already you know the reaction because you are used to this person. You know the reaction. So there are things that you can tell her, and then there are things that you can't tell her. And then that's where then parents need to check also who their kids are fond of. They need to check people that they relate easily with, and then just say, okay, my child has taken a liking to you. Please just mentor my child. And then maybe I don't know. I don't want to say. Okay, let me not say that. With people, we need to understand that mentoring is not only, it's not about, okay, we sit here, you sit in front of me, so what's been going on? Oh, so what happened? Oh, okay. No, mentoring, just talk to someone as normally as possible, because once it's a question and answer thing, now it makes it feel a bit formal. So therefore it's like, I can't be myself, I just have to answer what you're answering. But when it's someone that you are used to, you are able to talk to about, you are able, because as a person, remember, you can lie to me by what you are saying, but when I observe your actions, or where you are most comfortable, that's where I get to learn a whole lot of things. So then you will be like, okay, no, please just look out for my kid. Whenever he needs someone to talk to, at least you can be there. You don't need to tell me, but at least you know that you are trusting this person to be able to help the child. If you check, there are a whole lot of programs on women empowerment. Ne? Yes, women are empowering each other. There are men who are empowering women, but there are very, very, very few programs about mentoring boys or men empowerment. Because it's not only about the boys. I mean, you still have right now, as young as you are, Libes, you are even competing for a girlfriend with someone who has been working for 10 years, because older men now are also even going for younger women, and that in itself is also another problem, you see. Yes, so there's a whole lot of mentoring that needs to take place, so that you can say to a boy, yes, how about instead of doing it this way, let's also try it this way. How about instead of this, how about this? You see, and that can only definitely come from having a good circle around you. For me, I have about three male figures that I know that I can talk to. It's not easy. I'm still learning it myself, because I've never had a male figure to speak to. So, and I find that every time after I speak to them, I feel refreshed. I feel rejuvenated. It does not even have to be a face to face. Sometimes just sending an SMS and saying, please pray with me. And then someone responds and sends something, and it automatically lifts you. And then from there, you know that I can always talk to this person. You see, so we need to have mentors for our young boys. We need to have people who will show these boys how it is done. We also need men who will not only tell these boys what to do, but also to show them what to do and show them how it is done. Because we live in a generation now where you don't just learn from what you are told, you learn from what you see. So we need that. We need those circles around our boys.
Yeah. That's very much true. Hey, yeah, we are running out of time, and we ran out of time.
Eish.
But I just want to hear any close remarks, and so that we can wrap it up.
For a closing remark, it's not only for the boys, but even for the ladies who will be listening and watching out there. That everything boils down to one single thing. It boils down to the decisions that we make. The decisions that we make have ripple effects. So it's just like, I'm sorry to use this example, but I'll just use it. Ne? You you sleep with a boy without using any protection. Ne? It's a decision that you make now, but you will get to see the ripple effects after 9 months.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. So just because nothing is happening now does not mean that it will not affect the future. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
just like even when you drink, when you take your first sip, you don't get drunk. But the more you drink, it's a ripple effect. So we need to understand that our decisions, or the decisions that we make, are not only about the now, but they are also about the tomorrow. And tomorrow is where our focus needs to be, because that's where we are going to spend most of our time.
All the time.
When I
Yes.
make when I make a decision now, I no longer live in the time when I made the decision. I will then live in a time where I will see the manifestation of the
Of the
decision.
decision.
You get what I'm saying? Yes. So let us learn to make decisions that are of benefit to us and of benefit to those around us. Let us not be tricked into thinking or believing that you only live once and therefore you will live as reckless as you want. You don't live once. You live every day. But when you
Yes.
die once.
Yes,
So
sir.
the decisions that you make should lead you to live. And if we go with the notion that you only live once, okay, that's fine. Let's move with it. Then but it does not. It still doesn't mean that we need to live in a reckless manner, because we still need to make decisions that will allow us to live in a positive manner.
Yeah, I no, that's a mouthful. No, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. That's a
Yes, sir.
mouth. And I've taken note and I have learned. I've upgraded. The system is upgraded. The software. You know,
We are
I've
happy,
installed
my
the new
lady. We are
engine.
happy. We are
Hey
happy,
man,
my
thank you very
lady.
much, man. Thank you very much.
It's a
But before
pleasure,
we
my leader.
close,
Yes, sir.
uh, you need to tell us what's popping. We need to know what's next, because I know almost now you are on your second book, like second book, number 2, not 1 but 2. So maybe I don't know. Don't announce, but you can just guide us.
Um, no, it's okay. There were
Mm,
plans that were set for
mhm,
this year.
mhm,
Seminars that I wanted to conduct,
mhm,
but obviously, because of the pandemic that has seemingly crippled us for the
mhm,
past months, I had to put everything on hold.
mhm,
So for now,
mhm,
let me just
mhm.
say everything that was set for this year will just simply be transferred to next year. A whole lot of seminars that I will be conducting. As for writing books, no, my next book will probably come in the next 2 or 3 years. I'm in no rush to write another book, but instead, what I'm
Yeah.
doing, I also do book editing and proofreading. Yes, because a whole lot of people, I think it helped me to write a book and then had to go through certain things to know where to from there. So I help a whole lot of I help people. Once you've written a book, you get in contact with me, and then we know where to from there, because there's proofreading, there's editing, just so that we know, yeah, so that we get things nice and crisp, yes, before we get it
Yes,
out there
sir.
to the people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I do proofreading. Yeah, so I also do mentoring as well. So people who will be seeking advice. I just also completed a course in personal development and counseling, so I also I'll also be venturing into counseling and assisting people. So there's just a whole lot. There's just a whole lot, but at least now, because we're on level 1, soon we'll be maybe on level half and then level 0. We don't know. But yeah, then live, because I prefer live. I prefer seeing people in front of me here.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
why
yes.
that's why I've not hosted anything on Zoom and whatever. Yeah,
Anything else?
because
Yes, sir.
yes, because I want that feedback. I want to see people here. I want to interact with people. Yes. So all of that will just be transferred to next year. So we'll just see what next year has in store for us.
No problem, no problem, no
Yes,
problem.
sir.
I just wanted to say thank you very much for honoring the show and for uplifting us with powerful messages. And
Yeah, no.
I know, next year it's going down. It's going down, and I'm listening. I'm taking notes so that I'm not surprised. I'm like, no, Ushilo vele,
He
Ushilo.
said
I'm
it.
putting
He
pressure.
said it.
I'm putting pressure. I'm putting
Yes,
pressure.
my lady.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, very much, very
No,
much.
it's a pleasure,
Very,
my
very
leader. Thank you
much.
for having me.
Awesome. Guys, thank you very much. We had an incredible time with Mr. Boweni, and he talked to us, and we are indeed uplifted. Catch us on the next show as we will be talking about what? I can't tell you, but you will see it soon. May we all have a peaceful night. Good night.